I'm David Glenz, and I was asked to give you a presentation on my swing philosophy. So it's pretty simple. The way we look at the golf motion is three elements: the movement of the golf club, the structure and movement of the body, and then how the two time out. As far as the golf club, we try and stay fairly neutral here with getting the hands and wrists in a natural position, palms matching the face of the club well under the heel pad. So as far as club movement, a couple elements. One is the initial movement is what we would call a shallow inline movement with the club staying nice and stable. And then as we continue back, as the wrists bend and unbend, we see this matching of plane where the hands, wrists, and forearms have some movement to control how the club moves. So that's certainly something we want to work a lot on with beginning players. It might be the L to L action, but that's pretty much it as far as the movement of the club, with a lot of emphasis on through the hitting area, the club being online and stable. Secondly, we look at the structure of the body. So we want to take the spine and tilt the spine forward from the hips. Let the legs relax so the weight centers on the feet. And at address, I would expect the club to kind of fall through the small of the back or the belt line and be essentially 90 degrees to the spine. That kind of, to me, sets the plane of movement. As far as body movement, we're looking for the center here to drive and rotate, to coil into the back leg, drive into the front and unwind. And I think I might touch on ground force reactions, a lot of talk about that. So when we start forward, there's definitely pressure into the ground. So now as I rotate, the weight naturally comes up. Very similar to if I were throwing a ball, it would be the same kind of activity. So we have those two elements, and what we try and stay away from is shoulder turn. People think of shoulder points, and if we look, it's really from the upper thoracic area here up to here that the shoulders actually rotate, the shoulder blades. So your structure is important. The more you round, for every degree you round, you lose 2 to 3 degrees of rotation. So your structure becomes critical in maintaining, good rotary movement. But again, I want the driving force, I want to emphasize more from here down to the ground. And then as we get into the timing of the golf swing, generally the way we look at it is my hands are in front of me, so I'm looking at the center of my body to be rotating in time with the movement of the club. Now obviously, so when the club goes away, I want my body to respond and move in time with that. And especially coming this way, our sequence of movement, left foot, then core, and that keeps moving, and then the hands follow that. So good players, what we find, a lot of problems with hooks and blocks, getting trapped inside, and that's when the arms surge, the legs get out, and the upper body hangs back. So that's, where we often work with a cut feel for better players to try and hit the ball more on line, keep the club from being too much inside. For your average players, what we find is a lot of emphasis on turning shoulders and then back the impact with nothing moving. So even with beginning players, I try and get a little sequence in there by working with chip shots, where just letting the club go back a little ways and then trying to get some some lead to the center of the body. So we get that and a little tap of the ball. So that's kind of the essence of what we talk about. And then, I mean, it's tweaked from player to player. There's a lot more I could talk about, but they only gave me 5 minutes. So thanks for listening, and if I can answer any questions, feel free to call me.